What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of WandaVision Episode 6, All New Halloween Spectacular. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video that you watch, including this one. Okay, so this was a pretty insane episode. It really was. A lot of stuff happened this episode, a lot of moving parts. The one thing that this series has done really, really well is not only give us really cool, interesting ideas and moments, but because it's only 9 episodes, it has to move the plot along pretty quickly, but it's doing it in a very respectful manner, where the first episode didn't really give us much of anything. It has a small piece at the end, and this episode completely blows everything wide open. You know, it gives us the Malcom in the Middle 90s feel, and it reveals some more information about what's going on, who's doing what, and it's a pretty interesting episode. This is the best episode of the season so far. It's pretty crazy that each episode is the best episode of the season, because I think what is going on here in this episode has truly signified how good Marvel, Kevin Feige, and the people he gets to create these shows truly are. He has this magic that has gone into places that is insane. Like, this is stuff that have never seen before outside of a comic book. And the fact that it's horrifying, the fact that it's insane, the fact that it's just really cool, the fact that they can take a person like Evan Peters, put him into Pietro Maximoff's role, make him feel like the Aaron Taylor Johnson character, in the essence that he's always questioning Wanda and what she's doing in this world. It's really, really fascinating. I just love it. This is one of the best MCU anything I've ever seen, because it's just so well plotted, so well constructed, and it's just so much fun to watch as each piece starts to fall apart, or each of that piece of that onion starts to slowly peel away. We're seeing more and more about what's actually going on. Now, there's been theories that Agnes was, of course, she was controlling the plot of this whole thing. But after this episode, you have to kind of clearly wonder if she's just another pawn in Wanda's world. Because when we see Vision go to visit her, or when he's starting to look around and everybody's frozen in place, or they seem to be lost where they're at, she sees Agnes at the end of the road just sitting there, and she's confused and she doesn't know what she's doing. And then he untaps her with his mind, and she starts, realizing that he's an Avenger, but he doesn't realize he's an Avenger, which really brings it to the idea of him being mind stoned or whatever by Wanda herself. And it's stuff like that, when she starts questioning him and stuff like that, that really shows you the true nature of how good the MCU has gotten, with just going balls out and going crazy with their ideas and plotting. This episode, like I said, takes place in the 90s, is during Halloween, so we see the old costumes of Wanda and Vision, which is really cool. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of awesome. We have the whole idea of the two kids, the Billy and Tommy Maximoff characters, with their uncle, who they just kind of run around, do crazy things. They talk to the camera like Malcom did in this show, and it's a lot of fun to see, because it's goofy and weird. There's something strange and off about it. The fact that there's 1,000 kids in this world now, which is really funny, because they're like always talking about where the kids at. And now Wanda we see all the kids. They're all trick-or-treating. It's all, having a good time. But throughout the episode, the Evan Peters Pietro Maximoff is kind of questioning who she is, but he's also acting wacky. He's also acting crazy. He's also doing just what Evan Peters is really good at doing, which is being a crazy, over-the-top character and actor. But we see him as a dead person, which freaks her out, because it's Vision, which basically what she's doing, and what is starting to seem to be happening is she's able to resurrect people with the stone. Is the stone back? I mean, did she take the stone from, the glove or whatever? It's really kind of interesting to see exactly where all this is heading and how she's going, because she can manipulate stuff just with her eyes, as we're going to see it later on in this episode. What's really kind of interesting about what's going on in this episode is Wanda just kind of lets Vision go off on his own. Either she forgets, or she gets too busy with the two kids and Pietro and stuff like that. And it's really fascinating to kind of just sit there and watch, and as Vision's kind of wandering around the city and wandering, seeing these people kind of in place and stuff like that, and him just like starting to question reality. And then he talks to Agnes, and then he goes outside he starts to move outside the hex, as it's called. And as he gets outside the hex, that's where the true revelation of what actually is going, not really revelation, but what is kind of happening to the world around him. Because as soon as he moves out of the world, it's really kind of interesting because he starts falling apart in pieces, which means he's kind of stuck in this hex. This hex is his life support. And you see it when she brings him back in, because he's fully formed back at that point. But it's really kind of a sad, depressing thought to think about, because the Vision character was such a character that she is in love with, she cares about. She had to sacrifice to try to stop Thanos, and of course Thanos eventually killed him and stuff like that. So it's nice to see the kind of dichotomy and the sadness and the the love that she has for him, but she is in essence torturing him by keeping him alive like he is, because once he leaves that hex, he's to be gone. Once the Pietro leaves the hex, he's going to be gone, and it's really a fascinating thing to watch. And then one of the kind of cool things is we see Billy has the mind telepathy. That's how she's able to, or how he's able to warn Wanda that there's something wrong with Vision. And there's a really funny thing where, of course, Pietro's a speedster, so like that, he's Quicksilver. They're walking out by the theater in the Parent Trap, which is fascinating because the parent, Wanda has them in a trap and stuff like that. But the other one is the Incredibles, and what makes that kind of funny is, as soon as they pass that sign, all of a sudden Tommy has the ability to speed. And what makes it so hilarious is the Dash in The Incredibles has speedster ability, so the young boy has speedster ability. Which I'm not saying, I don't know if that's a coincidence or they planned that like that, but if they did, that's a really funny joke, really funny homage. There's also another funny joke in here where, Pietro goes, it's not like we're husband and wife, which is really kind of, I don't know if that's meant to be a funny joke or if that was a coincidence once again, because Aaron Taylor Johnson and of course Elizabeth Olsen were husband and wife in Godzilla. So it might just be kind of a coincidence that, of those things, but if it isn't, it's a really good inside joke about, the Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson history and what they've done as actor and actors and stuff like that. But all that stuff is happening, and then I'll get to what exactly happens with Wanda as the episode ends. But we go outside of Westview, and the whole Sword and Haywood and stuff like that, or Hayward or whatever. Basically, this is where we're starting to get revelations about the hex itself, and about Monica and her DNA is being rewritten every time she goes into the hex or whatever, and she has somebody who can help her, which is her and Jimmy Woo decide to go because Darcy wants to wants to watch Vision, because they're apparently tracking Vision and his vibranium and stuff like that. And we see them get arrested and see them get taken away, but they Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambeau do some really cool kick-ass action. And it's basically more revelations that the Sword is not on the level, that this Hayward guy, I think, is in control of what's going on. I think there's something really off about him. And they just, once they see Vision coming out, they're gonna, they're not trying to help him or anything like that, and they're watching him disintegrate. And like I said, Jimmy and Monica basically traveled to meet their individual, their contact, whoever that is going to probably be revealed till next week. Actually, it's not revealed because we don't ever see what happens, but they're going there. Darcy tries to save Vision, but she gets arrested. She gets handcuffed to the Jeep or whatever. And then the big oh crap moment happens, where basically Wanda Maximoff, in essence, uses her powers, which what is her powers to be? I watched this on a video. I can't remember what video it was, but it's never truly explained what her actual powers are. Is it mind manipulation? Is she able to manipulate the world around her? It's not really explained, but she is definitely controlling the hex, because she expands the hex in a pretty crazy way. At first, she's in the thing and she actually blasts Pietro, because he says it's not like your husband can die twice. And I'm like, oh, that's a messed up thing to say, because he did die twice, and so she blasts him, so who knows what's going to happen to him next episode. But I think Wanda has officially had it, because she actually expands the hex to a significant degree where it not only injects all the people that were at Sword into the hex itself because they can't escape, but you started to see like a circus form. You started to see all the actors or all the Sword people turn into like carnies and stuff like that. Darcy Lewis gets sucked into the hex because she's attached to the truck, and Wanda basically just expands this world of Westview into just a crazy new weird society, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the last 3 episodes of the series, because she, as the episode ends, she opens her eyes and she ends the expansion of the hex, but the fact that she expanded upon it is showing her true nature of her possibly becoming a villain in the series of Phase 4. And the fact that I think she doesn't want to lose everything that she has gained in this world. And I think it's starting to truly show that when Vision decided he was going to investigate what happened, and when he's suffering and starting to die off because he's stuck in the hex, it's showing that she just can't comprehend what she's doing to people. I mean, you see it with the people in the water hose and the pumpkin, and the ladies like, or no, not the water hose, but the thing where you like put clothes on, the clothesline, and she's just moving back and forth slowly like a zombie or like a puppet or whatever, and the guy with the pumpkin's moving the pumpkin to the side and stuff like that. And it's a lot of just very dark, disturbing stuff going on here that makes it a horror story. This is a horror episode. In fact, it's a Halloween episode, but the fact that it's a horror story and its aspect of what's going on, because she's basically keeping people against their will, is really, really fascinating. So it's an episode that truly it's a 9.5. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10 because it's a pretty incredible episode. Has a lot of moving pieces, has a lot of revelations, and really just kind of sets the MCU on a whole new different level than what it was already at. I mean, this series already had 23 MCU movies, and now we're moving into like a whole completely different multiverse universe world. It's a pretty crazy thing, like I said, I'm just kind of baffled by how different MCU can be and still be great. Yeah, this episode, All New Halloween Spooktacular, just ups the ante from last episode when we had Evan Peters appear. It's just, this episode is that episode, but in the whole entire episode, it's just mind-blowingly good. And I just give credit to everyone involved. They're really taking this material and they're really running with it, and they're giving every freedom and liberty to do whatever they want. And I'm excited every episode that comes up. It makes me excited for the true nature of what the MCU is going to be from now on. And with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up, and then Loki coming up, I don't know how much Loki is going to deal with the MCU in general. And I think from what we're seeing from here on out is just a studio taking chances, doing things their own way, and as we're seeing, the successes are just coming in mile minutes. So it's crazy. I love it. This is great. This is one of my favorite things that MCU's ever done. So, but that's it. That's gonna be my take on this episode. Episode 6, All New Halloween Spooktacular. Do you agree with me? Are you as excited as I am? I know a lot of people are just like, this is crazy. I can't wait to see what happens next week. But let me know in the comments below what you honestly think of this episode, or what you think of the series so far. But yep, that'll do it. Anyways, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like the video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.